Okay, so we're going to do a fast and furious review of the new Wave 10. I have 4 of the 6 figures from Wave 10. Still don't have the unmasked Batman or the black suit Superman, but we can go through the figures we have and talk through a little bit some of the cool things we're seeing and then some of the challenges. So, Robin, Jason Todd. I think it's really cool that we finally were able to get a Jason Todd specific figure. You know, even though the card art shows Dick Grayson and you know, the hairstyle may or may not be from Dick Grayson. They both kind of use that hairstyle. I know some people have said, that's much more Dick Grayson than it is Jason Todd, but I'm just thrilled we were able to get sort of a representation of Jason Todd. And even though there wasn't really much overlap in the comics between Dick Grayson and Jason Todd being Robin, in your world you could have multiple Robins that you could have Dick Grayson and Jason Todd together. And that's kind of a cool concept to think about. So what I really like about this figure is that we finally get the traditional Robin. We get the short shorts Robin. Does not have the detail on the shorts, the sort of feathered ruffle detail on the Robin shorts, but we do get some other cool things. Finally, we were able to get the Robin Hood-esque little, pointy shoes. Did get the karate chop homage to the original Superpowers Robin. I mentioned in my video introduction to this RB Customs Robin how much I like that we were able to turn the karate chop into a fist for a lot of different reasons, but I do appreciate the homage here. Like how the tunic and the flaps of the pauldron here pauldrons hang down a little bit better than I don't have the original Robin, but a little better than the original Robin, giving it that true sort of Robin look. And overall, love this idea now that the cape, even though it doesn't perfectly form, the collar of the cape is supposed to sort of form around the neck. Now, the body from this is from the Tim Drake Robin, and this is with a Cape Master custom cape on. So the main body looks like it was from that Robin. Of course, they added the belt and the tunic. Cool effect here on the belt, painted with a little bit different of a sort of a gold metallic color, which makes it jump. And then just a quick look at the back of the figure. So not a ton of surprises or detail here, but gives you an idea of what to expect. I haven't tried to seat him in the Batmobile yet, but it seems like he'll seat just fine. And yeah, again, if you're trying to really get a true lineup of Robins, you've got a good lineup here. Now, the one big difference is that, we noticed with the Tim Drake Robin that the noggin, the head's a little bit bigger, and yeah, Jason Todd does have a bit of a massive melon relative to Dick Grayson. So in terms of a line-to-line comparison from Kenner to McFarlane, a little bit of a consistency there, but that is nothing compared to what we'll talk about in a few minutes. So, and then, just a comparison, a good shot, Batman and Robin side by side. This is the RB Customs Batman. Awesome to see both characters together. And yeah, in the future, I'll get a better cape for this, Cape Master cape that really fills out this figure. But it's cool to have. I remember seeing when the original line came out in 1984, I actually, right around that same week that I actually saw them in stores, I didn't buy any of the figures, but I ended up buying a lot of Batman comics because I started to get into it again. And I remember buying Batman 375, which was a Mr. Freeze story. And the cool thing about that was that it had this new kid named Jason Todd. And I had no idea who Jason Todd was, and kind of introduced me to the idea of this new Robin. And I had to get used to Dick Grayson as Nightwing, which happened right around that time. So right in 1984, all this happened. I thought that was a cool sort of harken back to the past to be able to see that. So now let's take a look at the Atom. And, you'll see here on, you'll see over here the RB Customs version of the Atom, and you're going to see the McFarlane version. So again, and I kind of mentioned this in some previous videos, we are sort of stuck apparently with this mold, and that's really unfortunate. It looked for a long time like the McFarlane figures. They were rescaling and getting resculpted to fit more in line with the original Superpowers figures. This is the Flash, components of this were used in the Flash mold from the first Flash figure that came out. They could have pulled the boots from Batman. Not quite sure. Maybe they were molded separately. Head is definitely new. But the big bummer here is that this RB Customs figure is molded to be at the correct scale. And so we know that Ray Palmer is about 6 feet tall, is supposed to be 6 feet tall. And it's kind of hard to see here, but the other figure towers over him. So again, we've got the scale issues. And what this really leads us to is to think, for portions of a base for this figure, if I was to go one way or the other, I would have gone with the Hal Jordan figure that was released last year. And yeah, you would have had to replace, at least one or both of the arms and the bottom parts of the legs for sure, head. But we would have had a much better base with at least the tops of the legs and the body. And that would have put him much more in line with where we expect the current scale of the figures to be. Even though that figure was not perfectly scaled, it was still pretty good. The issue with this, again, is that it's just way too tall. It's way out of scale. What a missed opportunity with this figure. If we only get one Atom figure, and these, again, this is starting to go back to completing sort of the original JLA Satellite era line. We didn't get all of them in the original Superpowers release, so starting to get one of these critical characters with the Atom that can complete that lineup, and he is completely out of scale to the first line. So, unfortunately, it seems like something happened to that Hal Jordan mold. I'm not sure what, but there seems to be various opportunities where they could have used that figure over the last several waves and didn't. So something somewhere has happened in such a way where at the factory or elsewhere, probably where that figure can no longer be used. We haven't seen it re-released in any way, shape, or form after that first wave came out. So I know someone else brought this up. A few other people brought this up in the forum on Facebook. And yeah, that is definitely an issue at this point, is I'm guessing we don't have a great 6 foot tall mold that could be used for multiple figures in the line. And then coming to Jay Garrick the Flash, cool to get this figure in the line. Overall, I really like the look and the design of the figure. Don't know if they're missing any detail. This I didn't quite pay as close attention to the JSA characters over the years, but love the overall look, and just do not love, again, that we're using sort of these big molds to take the place of much more effectively built smaller molds that we'd like to see to get the line scaled in the right direction. So that's a bit of a bummer. You can see on the back here, let's see if I can get a little bit of detail work. Detail on the face, you'll see you've got the temples, gray temples with the black hair in the back. So a little bit of the middle-aged Jay Garrick look, and overall really nice look here. That reminds me, I didn't give you a good look at the back of the Atom. You can see the back of the Atom. So the costume is, very consistent with what we'd expect. And then for kind of the real head scratcher of the group, we have Lobo. And Lobo, as you can see, sort of towers over everybody else. I could have actually brought in a dark side figure to show the comparison. We can have him stand next to Batman here, and he is just massive compared to Batman. Really, really enjoy the soft goods coat that can be removed or jacket that can be removed. Think that's a really awesome piece. Would have loved if they had had an accessory or two to come with him. In the same way that I would have probably loved to see Robin get a Batarang. Would have been cool to see him come with an accessory. But the big problem here is, one, completely out of scale. Number two, if you look at this figure close up, this really does not fit the Superpowers aesthetic at all. This is more of a Justice League animated line figure from back in the day. From back when we had Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Justice League, and Justice League Unlimited. That is really what we were getting here. So I have no idea how the aesthetic from those two lines got meshed into one, but that's basically what we got. So just really, really challenged, sort of flawed execution. And that's unfortunate, because one of the things that we really want to be able to do, or I'd really like to be able to do, is to have a line with the new McFarlane line that fits at least in some way with the old line. And right now, in a lot of ways, because of the scale challenges, these are basically two separate lines to me. And look, I understand some people, not everyone feels that way, and we're just thrilled to sort of have something that's roughly in that same spot. I totally get it. I would love to get something that's a bit more in line. I've said in the past, I'd be happy to volunteer and help out on QC for McFarlane in any way I can. Because these are just some real obvious misses that are unfortunate and ruin what is unfortunately a very, very good line and very important in a lot of ways. Again, getting the Atom, a real key addition missing from the line from the original series. Getting a new sculpt of Robin and being able to introduce a new generation to the short pants Robin is really awesome. Getting Lobo, who a lot of people were really, really excited about, was just a great and cool addition. And yeah, again, I don't pay as much attention to JSA, but I know a lot of people that do. And being able to get Jay Garrick, I know, is a big hope for a lot of people. And hopefully these figures are the ones you like. They're just not quite for me. So thank you. And, McFarlane, again, if you want any help, I'm happy to help. Team, feel free to subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below. There's Wave 10. Thanks.